All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. It looked like the Giants were on the verge of trying to get Dylan Cease in a trade, and it did not happen. So the Chicago White Sox pitcher is now headed to the San Diego Padres. Um, let's talk a little bit about this. I mean, the Giants obviously need another starting pitcher. They're thin in the rotation. They're getting ready for opening day. They're getting closer. There's a lot of talk about Blake Snell, a lot of talk about Jordan Montgomery, and there was an awful lot of talk about Dylan Cease. And Cease is an interesting player. He hasn't had the most productive career thus far. I mean, it's not like Dylan Cease is just absolutely lighting the world ablaze. He really hasn't. When you look at his baseball card is pretty ordinary. He's was 7-9 last year with a 4.58 ERA. He's only career 43-35 um, with a 3.83. So the 3.83 looks pretty good, but the career record of 43-35. I mean, you're basically right around 500. He's gone 4-7, then 5-4, then 2021 he went 13-7. 2022 he went 14-8 with a 2.20 ERA. So that was a real good year. He gave up on only 126 hits on 184 innings. But this last year with the White Sox, he went 7-9, 33 starts. That's nice, but 177 innings, 172 hits, and 79 walks. Struck out 214. But also led the league in wild pitches, and I mean, he's a decent player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a nice starting pitcher. I would have liked the Giants to have had Dylan Cease, but it's not like, wow, this is a true difference maker. According to the reports, though, the Giants did show interest in a trade for Cease. Now we don't know what the Giants offered. What was the White Sox ask? Outfield prospect Samuel Zavala is part of the return. And reliever Steven Wilson is also in the deal. Drew Thorpe and Jairo Iriarte among the players headed back to the White Sox, according to John Morosi. So, this is, it happens in the division. So you'd never like to see that. Chicago, the Chi Sox fielded offers early in the offseason and then pulled back. And then they indicated they wanted to wait for the free agent market to kind of play out and then be like standing there with the only available starting pitcher. I think that was the dream of the general manager. But Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery didn't play nice, and they have lingered in free agency longer than anyone would have possibly anticipated. Opening day is coming up, and Chicago obviously felt the urgency to make a move. It's a huge strike for the Padres a week before they open the regular season with a 2-game set against the Dodgers in South Korea. The Padres, have had significant payroll constraints, and that's led them to see guys like Josh Hader leave, Seth Lugo left, Nick Martinez left, Michael Wacha left. So, and Blake Snell is on his way out. So we'll see. I mean, the Padres dealt Juan Soto to the Yankees before the final year of his contract. And, we'll see if, what the Padres look like. It's not the most proven rotation you've ever seen. As far as the Giants are concerned, what does this do? Well, I mean, it takes another starting pitcher off the board. This off season that Farhan Zaidi has engineered just is so uninspiring. I mean, it just does not. The way he treated JD Davis, the way he talked up going after Yamamoto, talked up going after Ohtani, sat on his hands, said that they offered the same $700 million deal with deferred money. Okay, well, the Dodgers went and deferred all that money and then went out and signed Yamamoto. If the Giants had offered the same deal, why didn't they follow that up with a big, off season of major expenditures? Instead, They waited forever, signed Matt Chapman, didn't sign Cody Bellinger, threw money to a KBO hitter, and then signed Jorge Soler to a pretty reasonable deal. I don't know. I want to be positive about the Giants, but man, they're they're going to wind up with, they could have had a youth movement on the left side of the diamond with Marco Luciano and Casey Schmidt. Instead, they're going to have a veteran cast-off deal with Nick Ahmed and Matt Chapman. Now, Nick Ahmed and Matt Chapman play an awesome defense, and there's going to be some great defense played on the left side. And I've told my high school kid, I've told my younger kid who's 14 who's playing ball, go watch the Giants every night. Watch Matt Chapman. Watch this kid Nick Ahmed play short kid. Watch the veteran Nick Ahmed play shortstop. And those guys are an instructional video on how to play the left side of the diamond. Don't get me wrong, but the Giants badly need another starting pitcher. I mean, they have Logan Webb, they have Kyle Harrison, they have a converted reliever in Jordan Hicks, who's got a great arm, but he's still a converted reliever. You got to wonder what kind of innings load he can handle. And then you got Keaton Wynn, but he's had elbow soreness. And, it's like the Giants' starting pitching depth has gotten kind of cut into. Jelly's had injuries. Wynn's had injuries. Tristan Beck has had arm problems. And Snell's still sitting there. Jordan Montgomery's still sitting there. Michael Lorenzen's still sitting there. And instead, it looks like the Giants are like, hey, screw that. We'll go with Mason Black, out of the farm system. Mason Black's a 24-year-old right-hander. He's not on the 40-man. He's yet to make his major league debut. He split last season between AA and AAA. And, we'll see. I mean, I'm rooting for him. Good luck, Mason Black. But man, I mean, you're the Giants. You bought the team for $100 million. It's worth $4 billion. You had $421 million of revenue last year. You don't think you owe it to the fans to put together a decent 4 or 5 man rotation of major league caliber arms? So, there was a lot of speculation that they would be players in this thing for Cease, and I guess they were. There's also Shane Bieber still available in the trade market, so maybe they'll go the Bieber route. But there you go. I'm not really getting it. We are brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. We're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass. MarinAutoGlass.com. Check them out. 415-883-3030. If you need a windshield, they are for you. And Sharp Corners, sports cards and collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Call Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.